the True Podcast. My name is Sheena. I am the creator of the True Podcast, and today we will be talking about a very important topic tonight, which is depression. I have two important individuals that are on the panel tonight. We're going to use their expertise when dealing with depression and any questions y'all may have in the audience. Before we get started, I'm going to let each one of them introduce themselves and give a little bit about themselves. I hope you're not camera shy. So to the right of me. To the right of me is, I'm going to be honest with you, this is my counselor next to me. So I'm just letting y'all know that's the reason why I brought him, because I feel like he's relatable. I can speak to him about a lot of things. And I feel like he can speak to you all too. Go ahead, Hollywood. I know you can speak.
He's my counselor too. As long as he's her counselor, he's my counselor too. When he counsels her, he counsels me.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Chad Middleton. I am the director, owner of Vision Counseling. Been in practice for about 10 years, been counseling for over 20. But I always say, if your counselor ain't got at least 5 gray hairs, you need to find somebody else to talk to. All right, so as you can see, I'm very well qualified to say so.
All right, and next, this is a very special person to us too. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Go ahead, Brandon.
All right, I am Brandon Armand Aaron from Beach Island, South Carolina. It's not near the beach or the island, though.
James Brown club.
Yeah. I'm on James Brown, word. So I'm also a licensed therapist as well. I know. I think I have 5 gray hairs. Am I correct? So please. So please, you still can talk to me though. You know, definitely have a lot of experience with being counseling since January 2017. And hey, we here.
All right, and let's go ahead to the left of me. Y'all know I call him Big Daddy, but this is DJ Hollywood of Aquarius.
Yeah, go by Hollywood, DJ Hollywood, and whatever else she called me, AKA.
Yeah, my therapist know those days.
And I'm glad to be here, man. This is definitely a topic that I think everybody need to kind of be a part of. So I'm definitely glad I'm on the couch.
So to the right, going to Mr. Quay.
What's going on? J_Jones06 on IG. If y'all ain't tapped in yet, make sure that you do so. We out here, man. Y'all know the vibes.
And y'all know my man to the right, Mr. King Caddy. And also, too, I will let him, you know, Miss Nicole Ray, and you know how she is. That's my Virgo buddy, my Virgo sister, and the realness.
Future Dr. White. Come on, I love you.
Miss Future Dr. White. Make sure you throw that in.
Okay.
All right, so tonight, y'all, the reason why we wanted to do this podcast is because, like, I feel in, like, reality, a lot of people, like, hiding depression. And if you really look at the news and see about the suicides, and me personally being in the military, I saw a lot of people dealing with depression, like PTSD, dealing with depression, like leaving their families, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people look at people, like a lot of friends of mine look at me like I'm a strong friend. So I always tell them, just because a person may look strong and they look like they're happy all the time, it's always good for you to always still check on that strong friend or that individual, because you'll never know what that person might be dealing with. A lot of people like pushing their problems off on a strong person, feeling like they might be okay in their life because you pushing everything off them because they seem strong, but not understanding. Sometimes they need you to say, hey, are you good? Are you all right? And that's why I like talking about, I want to talk about this topic, because a lot of people don't understand how many people that are around them are dealing with depressions, and a lot of people feel like that's a topic that they have to be quiet about. Like they feel like they can't say anything about. I know the males that I know of, they feel like that's weak if they can't express. They feel like they're being weak because they feel like they're not strong in a certain area. But I just feel like men and women, we all are dealing with depression, even though women are more vocal with it. I feel like men need to deal with it too, and it's okay to say you're not okay. So I'm gonna let the specialists that are on this panel speak and say a few things that you might want to add in.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I feel sorry for the people that are not that I feel sorry for them, but the people that are closest to you see the effects of depression. Like for instance, DJ Hollywood here, because of what you may have experienced from the military, everybody considers you a strong person because of what you went through, but he experiences the backlash of having all of that dumped on you, and he experiences a whole lot of the I guess the consequences of, you experience a whole lot that you have to see her deal with. And that's just as hard for you to deal with as it is for you. You putting on the front, trying to carry the burdens of the world and having to dump on him, sometimes it's hard for him to deal with a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with. So it can be isolative, but when you're in a relationship, when you are a parent, the people that are the closest to you see the effects of depression.
I think I want to ask, again, we got the specialist here. What's the definition of depression? I know it's so many different ways people say they're depressed, but like, now that we got y'all two here, what's the actual definition of depression?
I can speak first. So what we as therapists refer to, like when you try to like define depression or identify depression, we have the DSM-5, right? And that's where we pull. It's pretty much like the diagnostic manual that we pull up all of our diagnosis from, right? So what the DSM-5 says, it says a lot of things about depression. So like you have you have low energy most days. You're in a depressed mood most days. You lose pleasure in doing the things that used to bring you joy. Sometimes you cry uncontrollably. It's a few things that the DSM-5 defines as depression, but those are a few signs that you can just easily identify with, as far as like trying to notice if someone's depressed or not.
Now, I like to say everyone experiences depressive episodes. Somebody broke up with you. Somebody died. You lost some money. Your team lost. Yeah, I'm just feeling bad about where I need to be. That can be an episode. But I like to define a depression as a state that, and with the episode, you can overcome. You're mad because you don't have any money. I give you some money and you're happy. That's circumstantial. But when you have depression, sometimes money can't fix it. Sometimes somebody's saying, girl, it's going to be all right, homeboy, it's going to be good. It doesn't help. Evidenced by signs of you being fatigued, like he said, staying in the bed, not washing, not caring, not coming to work, not wanting to feel like being around people for an extended period of time. Now, of course, like you said, the DSM talks about, this time period where these symptoms take place. You're going through a period or episode of depression, then you might be sad, for a couple of days, maybe even a week or so. But when that feeling starts to become a state and it lasts for 6 months or longer, now you're in a state of depression. You know what I mean? It's like a whole cloud that's over you that no matter how much money you have, no matter where the job is or who does what, you still feel in this isolated, sad, withdrawn state.
So I guess I have a question. Is there such thing as a healthy depression?
I guess it's how you look at it. I think an episode of depression, if I'm sad, if I'm down because I lost a job, yeah, I'm sad, but that sadness can make me motivated to get another job, then yeah, I guess you can consider that healthy. But no one wants to feel bad. You feel me? But you know, when you feel bad, sometimes it can be a motivation to you to do right. You go walk past the mirror, no clothes on, you start looking at them, you know, everything. Yeah, you sad for a minute because of what you're looking at.
Right.
All right, you mad because of the stretch marks and the weight that you done gained. But if that is healthy for you to think about it, look at it and say, well, you know what, I'm working out tomorrow. That can be healthy for you to experience that sadness. That nobody can put that on you. You got to put that on yourself.
And what I like to add to that is, like you said, we all go through moments of depression, right? And what I like to tell my clients that are going through that come to see me for depression is, well, one thing is, depression isn't something that like you're born with. So like you were saying, like it's a state. So it's something that you can like overcome and everything like that. And also, healthy depression.
I mean, like what he was saying, when he's saying healthy depression, I mean, like some people, like I guess, like what he was saying, the motivation part. Well, my question is, like when you said a state of, like you ever notice how you said nobody wants to be unhappy? You ever notice a lot of times, or I've noticed it, a lot of times people go through situations where they know it was unhealthy, but then it's like, say they're in a state where they're in a better place, but they still do everything they can to almost like self-sabotage it, to go back to where they some people feel safe in feeling bad because that's just what they know.
Right.
So I've seen a lot of times where I'll be like, okay, you say you don't like that, but they stay in that or they go more towards it than moving away from it. So that's what that's what like I said, that's a part where I don't understand it, but then I do, is because like a lot of times people just feel safe in that area.
Right. And I think sometimes when you see people in that state, you got to send them to a therapist. You know, you one thing somebody told me is that, Chad, you can't save the world. And when I get to a place where I've got my hand out and I'm trying to help you and you refuse, I got to be okay with you refusing.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people throw up on folk that really can't handle being thrown up upon, and now that nastiness of you dealing with them follows you home. You know, so you got to recognize when somebody's in a state where they don't want help. I know it's hard to leave people alone sometimes, but sometimes you have to refer them to somebody that can reach them. And medication, although we don't like it, especially when it comes to taking something for something psychological, we consider that, us folk, we consider that crazy. You know, you done had a problem where you need medication to regulate, but I say all the time, we can talk till we blue in the face, but if you don't have medication to help you when you're at your lowest point, then it doesn't work. So talking is good, coping mechanisms and understanding your triggers is good, but sometimes you can be in such a state of depression, you can jump off a building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing about depression, it doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a tax bracket. And I realized that, you know, in your financial situation, like, if I was rich, if I was famous, I wouldn't go through none of that stuff. You got a guy, one of the funniest comedians, he's in my top 20, Robert Williams.
Oh, yeah.
You look at him like, man, ain't no way in the world this guy killed himself. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Junior Seau. You know what I'm saying? So one thing about depression that we didn't really talk about it a lot in the black community.
Right.
It was a sign of weakness. And when you went through depression back then, it was more so man up. And I think like young black men have to be the head of the household. They went through so many different emotions. They didn't get a chance to be a kid or whatever. You know, I gotta go out here and try to beat my mom, my sister, and stuff like that. And it gets so hard still as a black man in a relationship to say that I need help. I feel some kind of way because you're supposed to be that soldier for your woman.
No doubt.
You know, and it's crazy because I forgot what year it was, but the suicide rate was crazy. You know, and I think a lot of people, to a certain extent, experienced some type of depression during COVID.
Right.
Because we didn't know what to do. We at the house with one another, like, dang, I really used to love this lady, but I really don't. Shit. Damn, I didn't know you sleep with your mouth open, you know? But COVID, it touched me because I was like, God damn, what's next? Put on a mask, take off a mask, get a shot, get a booster shot. And I think with me, the fact of not knowing, it puts me in a state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I don't know. I hate surprises. I remember my family tried to surprise me for my birthday. I cussed everybody. I don't like surprises. I hate them. And even on my birthday, I hate my birthday, but I don't want to miss nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that they was able to find y'all guys to bring y'all out. Now, what is manic depression?
Ooh. Manic
Then
depression.
after that, the other one was, didn't we, the United States went through a Great Depression? Yeah, so I wasn't around when that happened, but I seen the grays on your face. I'm like, yeah, maybe you was around when that happened, you know? But what is manic depression? What is that?
Well, first of all, some of what you described may not be depression. It may just be your childhood experiences and your lack of communication. Men, we're not the best communicators, first and foremost. Let me say that. And just because you can't communicate doesn't mean that you're depressed. You just got a problem communicating. When we fall off a bike when we're kids, our parents, our uncles tell us, shut up, what you crying for like a little punk? Get back on the doggone bicycle and ride. Somebody punch you.
But that's where the depression come in at, because you're like, I don't let Unc down. Now Unc mad at me. You know what I'm saying? He been out here for the last 3 hours trying to show me how to ride this bike. Now he's frustrated.
Right.
Dang,
Right.
my bad.
That is not only poor communication. That can't be defined as depression.
Okay.
But it can lead to depressive episodes. You feel me? So we don't want to automatically just because somebody's down to automatically label them as depressed. You ever hear people talk about narcissists? Everybody, nowadays, as soon as you break up with somebody, oh, he's a narcissist. No, you can't just do that. You can't just label people as narcissists because you can't get along with them. You know what I'm saying? You can't label people as depressed just because they crying because their mama died 6 months ago. No, it's the specialist, the therapist, that determine if they meet criteria for certain things. I understand that there are episodes where the person has that's giving you symptoms of such, but it doesn't automatically means depression. So yeah, you're right. When you're a kid and you have these issues of poor communication and letting down, you may feel depressed. But if you can feel depressed and get back on the video game, go back to work, and you ain't having no issues, that wasn't depression. That was just an episode of what had happened. So as an adult, yeah, there are certain things that you experience, and COVID highlights that. You don't like talking. You don't like to be around your significant other.
That much time, right?
Absolutely. Those were the issues, but COVID emphasized that. It made it much more apparent, like, God, I can't even stand you. Breathe like that. You know? So it's not depression, it's just some other stuff. So when we talk to you, we recognize that, yeah, you may be experiencing an adjustment disorder. The adjustment is, I was working fine until COVID hit. COVID hit, now I'm feeling this way. Well, if COVID didn't hit, you would have been fine. So it's an adjustment to some stimulus, something that caused you to feel some type of way. So listening to you, I wouldn't know if it was more so a problem with your personality and having to deal with certain stimulus, or if it's actually depression. You feel me? So if you're experiencing that kind of feeling where you just get, I'm tired of dealing with you, tired of dealing with this job, I ain't making the right amount of money, I'm mad with the world, COVID-19 is this, that, and the third, you're angry, you're irritable, but it's not automatically depression. You feel me? So depression is something that's categorized with lack of motivation, fatigue, crying spells, withdrawal, isolation, don't want to fool around with people, don't want to do the things that you normally do for an extended period of time.
Right, and I was feeling like that with COVID being 2 years, and you so used to doing this and this for your family.
Absolutely.
Now you're not able to do that. Now you're like, I don't want to be around no fucking body.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, why are you not cracking no jokes? Why are we not doing it? I don't know what's next. And it's irking the hell out of me that I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
So therefore I cannot be the person that I normally am for y'all because I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? They said everybody got to be in the house by 8 o'clock. I'm so used to going out, making this amount of money at night, you know. Now you're not able to do that. Now your family looking at you like, we gonna be good?
Right.
I don't know.
So what if COVID doesn't hit? Or what if things are reversed? Are you better?
Yeah, because it's nobody else saying, give me all these restrictions at one time.
That's
You know
not
what I'm saying?
depression. That's
Right.
not depression. Depression is even after COVID gets better, you still don't fool around with people. Now, because you done been in this state for 2 years, I don't want to do nothing else. I done got so used to staying home, working from home. I don't want to go back to the office. I don't want to go out the house except for necessary things.
Right.
Now that can develop into depressive.
Okay, right, I
episodes.
got you.
You know what I'm saying? But if your situation is because of something that happens, that's not depression in the media.
So that's cause and effect.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha.
Longer period of time though, if it's 2 years after COVID, everybody done went back to life, everybody's been doing their own thing, and you still in the house mad, balled fist up, divorced, whatever, then yeah, you're having more issues related to that. You know what I mean? So that's what it can lead to.
But can't you pick up certain habits in that moment that can lead you to depression, which then even after you get out of it, you're still doing those same habits, like excessive drinking, excessive, sexual activity, things of that nature. So, like,
Depression make you
no. Okay, so first of all, I do say D, okay? Let's be very clear, okay? I'm just asking. I'm really cut up today. But, I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like those things, like when you're in those moments of depression, right, COVID or not, but you pick up certain habits
No doubt.
that can influence depression.
Absolutely.
Like somebody died, right, but you see somebody who's excessively drinking and you're like, listen, I think something's going on. But in my mind, I'm like, all right, you really might, and I'm not a therapist, but you really might be depressed. You might need to go see somebody.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
But then it's something else. Then it becomes alcoholism, and alcohol is a depressant. So now depression is a result of your alcoholism. When you got somebody that's manic, then they're depressed. Then you got the manic depression, which is an extended, tense version of depression. You got me? So bipolar people, of course, bipolar, meaning that they're running laps,
Right.
then they're the total opposite,
Right.
crying, and definitely just out of sorts. Next minute, they back on their high horse.
Rainbows and butterflies.
Absolutely. Now you speaking of the depression, the Great Depression. That was years ago.
That was just a label or just
Yes, everything was so down. The industries was so poor during that particular time. Everything suffered. Right. You got grandparents and stuff. People from that era had to work through the Great Depression. So you find out that their work ethic and a lot of the things that they suffered during that time affected the generation.
So why wasn't COVID labeled as another depression or Great Depression?
I think people came up during COVID. It might have been. A lot of people did. You gotta think. I think it like this. Job wise, they started. You know how people used to have to get off work, go do an interview.
Yeah.
They had to miss their kid. They had to go pick the kids up early. Had to do certain stuff. Now they was doing interviews on the phone. You can do like virtual. You didn't have to leave your house to go do that. You can really do everything. So I'm like how right now we go into the restaurant industry. a lot of people quit their restaurant job because they was able to have time to study, get training, and do other stuff to move up and do something different during COVID. That's what I'm saying. I feel like, in my opinion, COVID helped a lot of people. Not saying bad was, a lot of people died. I would never say, like, a lot of people lost a lot of loved ones. Yeah, I'm clearing that up. It's a lot. Because even I've lost family members in COVID. I'm saying, like, job-wise, it's people, I've had family members who had the chance to actually do training and learn how to do different things during that while they were inside.
And I feel like in the black community,
COVID was like a regular for us.
Right.
Losing jobs, trying to find something. It was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Certain people wasn't used to it. Oh my God, what are they gonna do? Oh man, we used to this.
We used to this.
Right.
You know what we was talking about? Well, I want to bring this up on here. You remember how we was talking about the Jada and Will situation that happened?
Now that led up to the pressure.
I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying this, I'm going to tell y'all a personal story about me, the reason why I can go on both sides. And me and Hollywood, I'm going to use this as an example. Not saying them personal, but I'm just saying. Like when Chris Rock had gave his joke, whether he meant it or he didn't, like he said, he's saying that he didn't know she had what she had or whatever condition that she had. Me, how I related to Jada is I suffer from hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism, at the time, I didn't know what the hell was going on with me. I thought I had cancer, and the doctors thought I had cancer. Well, I remember sitting in the shower, and I'll never forget, I put my hand in my head, and I had clumps of hair come out of my hair. I mean, I had all of my hair, literally clumps of it in my hand, and I dropped in the shower, and I just started crying because I thought I had cancer. I didn't know what was going on in my body. I was doing tests. I didn't know what the hell was going on. The doctors was doing all kinds of stuff. They was doing biopsies, pulling, scraping my scalp. I was going to the doctor literally almost 3 to 4 times a week, getting blood tests, everything. So what I had to notice about that situation, especially as a woman, hair is important to women. Hair is very important to women. In that moment, I really, with that condition that I had, I lost everything that made me feel like a woman. I had to go through a situation where I was emotional all the time, and my husband had to deal with that. He didn't know what was going on with me. My hair was falling out. I was crying all the time. People at my job didn't know what was happening to me, so it was almost like I was being hazed at work. Nobody understood me, so I had to fake it. I was crying, but I had to be happy all the time because I was working at a job in military, trying to be happy all the time, but not let other people see it. So when Chris Rock had said his comment at the award, I could feel how she had to almost look like, okay, I'm gonna fake it, like this not gonna bother me, but it really did, because as a woman, that shit hurt. Like when I finally cut off all my hair. I did, and my husband had to watch me. I finally cut off all my hair, and I finally took one step outside, and I was like, I was self-confident. I was like, oh no, I don't agree with it. People was telling me it looked good, but in my mind, I was like, I know it don't. So it don't matter what nobody told me, it had to be what I felt. So I felt when Jada went to the award ceremony and she finally sitting in the front, she built her confidence up to be where she was at, to have somebody say that in the middle of all of your peers and in front of everybody, and make her confidence go where she finally built herself up to, for somebody to crack a joke and bring her back down as she done worked hard to get where she was at.
But before that, some months before, when they did an interview, she was like, I don't give what nobody say.
She can say that. I said that too. I was like, I can say I don't give a fuck, but then when you in that moment where you got the world watching you, and you in an audience where everybody is in there with you, and your peers, like everybody famous, everybody's watching, and he say that joke to you, and people in the audience are laughing. Like, she was humiliated. And then you got her husband, he laughed at first because that's what, they gotta do. That they trained yourself to laugh even though that shit really ain't funny. But I look at it from Hollywood's standpoint, he had to deal with all that. Like how my therapist said, you had to deal with the backlash. Everybody else don't understand it. She looked happy and she had to look happy in the limelight. But at home, they don't understand how much Hollywood had to deal with me crying every night. Me not wanting to, I'm in the house with a bonnet, can't even take my own hat off in my own house and feel comfortable with my husband and feel that depression. And I feel how Will felt. He like, man, Dad, you don't know how much you just set me back just now. Because I'm going to have to be the one at home dealing with her crying every night. I'm going to have to be the one at home dealing with her flipping out on everyone, being hurt, depressed all the time. And they don't understand that. A lot of times a joke, really, I be telling people this all the time, you have to watch what you say to certain people because a joke can actually really hurt somebody, and you can either be, I tell people this all the time, watch what you say to people, because you can either be that person that pull them off the ledge or be that person that tip them over. So you would never know. That's why I always say I be nice to people, because you would never know if you that individual that make them go over the edge or you pulling them off. And that's why I was saying with Jada's situation and Will's situation, Will felt like, I think Will did it more for himself, not for Jada. I feel he hit Chris Rock because he knew what he was going to have to deal with when he get home. And he slapped the hell out of Chris Rock for that. Not because of Jada. He did it for himself, like, you don't know how far you just set me back. And now I got to deal with this. Not you, I do. So I think that's my opinion.
So I got a question. So go ahead, DJ, before I ask my question. It's kind of in the same direction. You sure? Okay. So kind of in that same direction, right? And I think it was episode 3 that we talked about talking too much, right? And when you're dealing with depression and what that looks like, and you're talking about your husband and your partner, and that person deals with the backlash for the professionals, right? When is it too early to tell someone, hey, like, you know, I've been diagnosed with, you know, anxiety, PTSD, and depression. You're going to be in my life, or we've established this sort of relationship. When is it too early to tell that person what you're dealing with or what you have dealt with? Or and do you tell them the triggers? Do you tell them what are those things that put you in that depressive episode? Because that's one of the things where, is it talking too much, or is it telling somebody, no, this is what I'm dealing with, and you may say something that may trigger me, but if you don't know it, you know, I may backlash on you thinking I'm crazy. So when is the appropriate time to really tell your partner, I've been diagnosed with this, you know, some say it's an illness, but with this.
ASAP.
Yeah, to me, I mean, it's really never too soon. Cause okay, one thing that I've noticed from a personal standpoint and a professional standpoint, like we live in a world and a society where we only want to talk about and highlight positive emotions and positive things, right? But life is filled with so many different other emotions.
Right.
You got anxiety, you got fear, you got embarrassment, you got confidence, you got excitement. Like, we have to learn how to also talk about the other emotions that we're feeling. Well, one, we have to be, you know, comfortable and confident within ourselves to talk about that.
Vulnerability, basically.
Right? Yeah. We have to be okay with being vulnerable, but that's something that we have to learn because for so much of our lives, we've only dealt with the positive shit that go on. We've only dealt with positive things. We're only comfortable talking about positive things, even with our partner. Like even with like meeting someone, you know, for the first time, seeing somebody that we like or love or whatever. We don't want them to see the real us. Like right. we spend so much time presenting our representatives where, like, you know, eventually like that real person gonna come out. So you have to do the work within yourself to be comfortable and confident and open and honest with yourself, to build your self-image, your self-confidence, and your self-esteem, to be able to I guess share those things with these people. And if they're the right person, then they'll understand and they'll love you regardless. Right. And if they don't, you have to understand in yourself that, oh, okay, well, maybe they're not the right person for me, and you have to be comfortable and fine with that to let them go. You know what I mean? Because the right person is gonna love you and appreciate you regardless of who you are or who, you know, the good and the bad. You know, because life is filled with good and bad, not just good.
I think the biggest thing with that note is, have you really been diagnosed? I think we meet a lot of people. I think when we talk about depression and like anxiety, we diagnose ourselves.
Right.
So
Well, that was like a personal thing, right? Because I've been through that, right? Where that has happened, right? And that's a whole personal moment. But, you know, the person that you're dealing with, they're like, oh, you don't got that. Oh, you know, with the black community, what they say, well, go to church, talk to God. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds good, but you say ASAP, but some people really did, they diagnosed with it.
yeah, again, I think that's just the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, definitely in our community, I think it's one of the things like you could be talking to somebody, they be like, oh my God, I'm suffering from anxiety. I'm like, how you know that? Like, where that come from? You just pull that out of the dictionary. You know what I mean? Like, if you haven't really been professionally told that, I just think we're so used to saying, yo, I'm going through, I'm depressed right now. I'm going through anxiety right now.
Me too moment.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
Somebody who has been diagnosed with it, like, yo, that's that shit I go through. Shit, you got it. I know I got it. That's no, jackass.
But I feel like you can feel feelings of anxiety and not be diagnosed with anxiety. Like, I think that could be a trait. You could be scared. You could be, excited. That don't mean it's anxiety. That just mean you might just be, you know what I mean? Like,
no, anxiety is a feeling. Depression is a feeling. I think you can feel depressed and not have depression. You can feel anxiety. I don't care what anybody say. If you cool when somebody about to smack you dead in your face, you are a serial killer. Something is wrong with you. Okay? So anxiety is normal. Somebody about to cut off the lights at the house and you ain't paid the bill by 5 o'clock. Your supervisor done told you to get to work. Late one more time, you're going to get fired. Yeah, you're going to experience some anxiety. Now, to answer your question, I think you have to do an assessment. You got to assess whether it's significant enough to tell this person whether or not you're suffering from something. I wouldn't tell nobody I have a mental illness. I would assess whether or not they can handle it, first of all. And secondly, I'll let them know, well, sometimes I just don't feel like going out. Sometimes I just want to be left alone. And see how they respond to that.
So sugarcoat it.
Right.
No. You have to assess who it is that you're talking to. Because you tell me that you're interested in me, and you tell me, but I have depression.
You remember they had this issue last time. Wait a minute, they had this issue.
That's all right. That's all right. Because now you're leaving what I think depression is up to me. Now I'm thinking you crazy. So
you gotta wake up one day and have a nightmare.
There it is. So I think you have to assess who you with to whether or not that person needs to know right now.
Exactly. Right.
Now
we said this. Okay, first,
before
she keeps saying this, I'm gonna put you on understanding.
Right. Okay.
We had on the last podcast, right? These two.
Okay.
We all went against them on this.
And that's fine.
We said in the beginning, the topic was called "Shut the Hell Up."
Okay.
Well, really, shut the fuck up.
Okay.
I said that sometimes, like, when a lot of times I've seen this all the time, I said a lot of times women will give too much information in the beginning. And I said, this is my, they get the answers to get between the legs. And they wonder why. Like on the first, I'm just saying, on dates, it's been times with girls that have dates, and they give out, all you gotta do is sit back and listen. And they tell him this, he did that, I got this, that. He's hearing everything he needs to know.
But this topic don't take him either for wanting to get in between or running.
This is what I'm saying. So I'm telling her how you just said that. A first date, you should not come out on your first date and say, hey, I'm just letting you know, I'm bipolar. But I got this, I'm dealing with this. That man, but it's like he said, that person might actually like you. Just take time because they don't know this shit. Like we said this, I guess the topic was they felt that if you meet someone and you know your goals and your aspirations and that person, say you want to have a kid, they know they want to have a kid, they want to do this. But listen what I'm saying. They say you should tell this person right away.
That's not what I said.
We're going to repeat this. You know how we said we're going to roll the camera back. But like we said, they felt like you should tell that person, and if not, you should let them go. I'm like, you don't know. Like, that person don't know up front. Like, this is what I'm saying. Right. If I feel like I want to have a baby, I know in my future I want to have a baby.
Right.
I already have kids. I'm saying, if I'm somebody, if I know I want to have kids, I don't know. You, like they said, I'm 2 years. I got a timeline. She had a timeline. in 2 years I'm gonna have a baby. 3 years we're gonna get married, or 2 years you're gonna get married, and then 3 years we're gonna have a baby, blah, blah, blah. Life don't work that way.
Well, that's her version of it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you watch
Alright.
I'm gonna let you watch that.
There's 3 sides to every story.
Yep.
My thing was this: if we going on a date and we get to know each other a little bit, I know I do not want any kids at all. So by you telling me this, I can go ahead and eliminate this what we doing.
First date.
First date, because sometimes people get asked on the first date, so it's never too early to do anything. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like we sitting down having a talk. What are your goals? What are you trying to do? Well, I want to. But I'm 30 something years old. I want to have kids in the next 3 years. If I know I don't want to have any kids in the next 3 years,
You ain't smashing because of that?
no, no. I'm a smash, but it'll be with a condom on because I do not want to get you pregnant.
The condom might pop.
But the reason,
The condom might pop.
but the reason for my question was,
Like, we see you answer the question.
is that with the kids, right? Even with that, you could feel like, well, this may be a genetic thing. I may not want my kids to have depression, and I may not want them to people say that. So when he said ASAP, what does ASAP mean? I mean,
Well, no,
right for you, but I'm
That
just
just
saying
mean-
a lot of that
because-
just plays into it.
1 minute, y'all say, life is so short.
Right.
Then
Go
it's
after what's
take your
wrong.
time, work it out. No, man, I need to know this stuff in the first 30 days.
30 days.
You know what I'm saying? It don't have to necessarily be the first night, but if you want kids and I don't want no kids, let me go my way and you go your way. But they saying stay there, work it out. It might get your mind
I'm gonna
changed.
jump in real quick. I've been listening a lot. All right, so at what point is it that you would open up about your depression if you're going through something with your partner, or just going through something in general? At what point is it healthy to open up about your depression?
Well, I think. How do you typically feel after you finish throwing up?
Better.
That's the word.
Who?
Better. Well, it depends on why you're sick.
Okay.
But usually it's something that you consume that makes you feel sick. And in life, you can consume a lot of things. And the more you throw up, the better you feel. So I would say to you that if you get into a point where it is starting to make you sick to the point where you're hard to deal with, you done shut off, you're feeling the sourness of life because of what you consume, you need to talk to somebody. But the problem is with us, black folk, is we talk to the wrong people.
Okay, say it again.
So you could actually go talk to a therapist to really filter through. I consider myself a throw up specialist. I don't mind you getting it out your system. Just don't go run back to it and eat it.
Like a dog.
And then exactly to his vomit.
Okay.
That's a scripture.
It is.
All
Hey.
You don't want to go and return to the thing that made you sick until it starts causing you problems again. So those things that cause you real serious dysfunction, I think you need to share it with somebody. But again, here goes that word, assessment. You got to assess to see whether or not the person you talking to can handle it.
And see, that's the thing. We notice that a lot of people feel like their mate always are the ones who supposed to understand it. They're supposed to be able to be the ones that help you get through that. And I be like, people don't understand that everybody has their own issues that they're dealing with, but that person might not know how to help you. Right. And they feel like that person might be. I've seen it, and even I can be guilty of it. Like, some people really don't understand. Sometimes your mate is not the individual that you might need to give all that information to, because they might not be the person who can help you through it. But everybody feels like, a lot of people feel like their partner or their mates or their significant other is always supposed to be the ones that always supposed to take all that going up.
But that's why I said I think you need to ask questions. So one of the things that I do, right, when I feel like my partner is going through something, what is it that you need from me? That is my,
but that's the thing,
question.
sometimes they might not need something from you.
But that is the reason why I'm asking the question, because I won't know that. I can assume that because they're crying or mad or whatever the case may be, I can just jump in and do X, Y, Z. No, what do you need from me? Because what I assume that you need may not really be what you need. So I think asking those questions will help you know.
And how you ask it.
How you ask it. Right. That's not how that's right. Their childhood experiences could have, then triggered them. But when you ask the question, what do you need from me? That will let you know, can they communicate that? And if not, you take a step back.
But yeah, sometimes it's just about them. They may be needing you to listen.
Yes, but they can say that. But maybe they can't. Maybe they can't communicate that. But at least the person is willing to try, and that's like, hey, I am trying to understand what you're going through. I am trying to help you. When you feel like you're ready and you can communicate, I am here for you. So I'm just saying, ask the questions.
All right, going back to what Sheena said and what she highlighted in regards to the military. Sometimes within our profession, right, they want to be quick to diagnose us or put us in these rehabs, or they'll be quick to frown upon you. They try to look at you like, oh yeah, man, you going through what? Nah, you'll be alright, man. Take this little Tylenol, you'll be good. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Sometimes you really be going through stuff, and it's just hard to open up, you know what I mean? And then when you go through those counselors, you always want to think about negligence, like, oh yeah, this may affect me for promotion, this may affect me, throughout my career, and you don't want that to happen. So you have a tendency to not open up, and that's one thing within the military, it's just hard to open up sometimes because you're scared of the consequences or the cause and effect from that, and just how people may look at you. But I would say, regardless, I have a therapist, yes, in the military, and sometimes I'm not, opening up because, of those other consequences, but I don't know.
So does the military send everybody to some form of depression? Because you go downtown, some of the homeless people, you like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, that guy right there, he used to be in the army. He used to be in the military. Like, God, I really haven't met too many people that went to the military, came back to civilization, and they were,
to touch on what you was talking about, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, to touch on what you was talking about, for me, okay, so therapy is all about fits, right? It's all about connection, and I know one thing one ground rule I try to set for all of my clients that come in is, I want you, to become the best version of yourself, right? I'm committed to help you do that. And I want you to feel comfortable enough to be open and honest about whatever you're going through. So feel free to cry, scream, cuss, roll on the floor, do whatever you need to do to get off whatever you're going through without feeling scared or without feeling judged. And not being non-judgmental, that's also like a soft skill that most therapists, the good therapists, I say, that's a trait that they have, right? So if you ever feel scared, or if your therapist never makes you feel in the beginning that you can share whatever you need to share, and it won't leave this room, and you won't be judged, then you might just need to find a therapist that make you feel comfortable enough to do that.
Well, I guess the biggest thing is that really true. Like with the military, you say the wrong shit, you might as well go ahead and it's a wrap. It's going to get back to your supervisor, your commander. You're going to be in the office, that's the wrap. That ain't how it works, though. It's no different with, if I go see an outside therapist. So if I go see an outside therapist, I could tell you, I feel like shooting some shit up.
Right.
You ain't going to tell nobody?
They going to report it.
You know what I'm saying? I may be venting just how I'm feeling, but that's deeper than but
But in the world we live in now, we need to know that.
Yeah. And see again. It may be okay. And see, I'm not a military therapist, so I don't know what rules and regulations they abide by. But I had a client that was going through something similar, and he was going through something that he did not want to be open and honest with me about and he was a vet. He was a vet. He was like, yo, it's some shit that I'm thinking, that I'm feeling. I know you a mandated reporter, and I know I can't share certain shit with you.
Yeah.
Going through a few sessions, I was like, listen, man, medicate, because his psychiatrist kept giving him medication to kind of help him try to forget about these feelings or whatever these thoughts and dreams he was having. I was like, listen, I understand it's some shit that you got to get off. You can feel safe to get it off in here, and I promise you, I won't report it. You already let him know like the rules and shit that I have to report it. But I was like, listen, you got to get this shit. Like if you don't get this out of you, we're not gonna move forward in therapy. You're never gonna heal from this shit. And once I let him know that, he felt comfortable and he shared shit, and he finally got healed from shit that he's been dealing with 20 years.
So it's almost like a double-edged sword.
Right.
I want to get some stuff off, but I tell you, like, ooh, I got to throw that. Right. I'm thinking about going over here and blowing some shit up. Like,
and then when you
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna come pick buddy up, but he's about blowing some shit up tomorrow. Because I work with transportation with District 2 with special need kids, and somebody from Fort Jackson jumped on the school bus.
M16.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? And you think with military, they'll be disciplined enough to know, like, okay, it's kids on the bus, and man, I'm like, God damn.
Y'all understand.
But he only been in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But I think with that note, going back to kind of what we're talking about, like, you can't really, you say you want to talk to your mate, but like, you get these people in the military or whoever, they talking to licensed professional people. Your mate ain't professional.
Right.
And I think we said this last episode, they're going to hold it against you. Let me come tell you, yo, this happened, I'm going through this.
I'm glad you ain't you that.
My mate going to hold that against me.
Are they?
And you're going to have an argument, you going, well, you have crazy anyway.
No.
You this, you that. You this.
That's not the right partner for you. That's just not like this.
So
that happens every day, though. That's
So
every day.
They say
It's like when you get to that point, okay, because it's like when you're in a relationship, yeah, communication is such a huge part of relationships, right? So you definitely have to figure out, okay, is this the right mate that I can really be open and honest with and communicate with? And then if they are, or if they're not. So your friends, your family, and your mates aren't. It's like they don't have to listen to this shit. Like they're not trained to do this. That's what like therapists like we have to listen to all your
in order to get paid. In order to get paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. Exactly. We're
So in other words, I wouldn't even listen to this shit if I don't get the check.
Right.
But go ahead, bro. You doing pretty well.
Look, friends and family ain't paid to do that, so they don't owe nobody.
Anything.
Friends and family don't owe you to have to understand you and figure out what you're going through. But like we as black people, we've gone through so much, and we think that therapy. We've been brought up to think that therapy is only for crazy people and white people, right?
Okay.
So if we get over that and be like, okay, damn, I'm talking to my mate, but he ain't or she ain't understand what I'm going through. So like, I gotta go to a therapist to get this off to fix me so that I can be better for myself and for my mate. You know what I mean?
Like what we were saying was what my husband was saying is that they were saying that when you get in an argument and you tell your mate everything, like you can say weaknesses, everything that you done dealt with, but when you in a heated moment, in a heated argument, they are saying that, oh, you know what I mean, it's not supposed to say that, or it's not supposed to.
Below the belt. You're not.
Listen, we're saying this from people who experience and who's been in relationships for a long time, letting y'all know it's life. When somebody does, even when you're in an argument, you might not mean it. And that's why we, like you said, that's something that therapy help you with. It's the point being where people use what you say. When you tell me you hurt me, if I say something to my husband that hurt him, he might say something hard that hurt me back. He might, at that moment, that's just in that heated moment, he might come back and say, hey, damn, I'm sorry, I apologize, but it's been said. But it wasn't trying to but if you tell me you hurt me, I'm not to hurt you back. I'm in that moment.
Healthy communication.
Man, look, you can say healthy communication all you want. Either way, it's a girl that you don't like. You mean to tell me if a girl say something, you call you out your name, you ain't about to say, oh my gosh now.
Well, Michelle Obama say when they go low, we go high.
I'm a healthy communicator. And I'm about to say the high world. You a damn lie.
That's not what I said.
This is the true, the real us. I want no fakeness up somebody say something to you bad, you not about to say nothing worse to them.
Bullshit.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I'm not saying
And I didn't see
I am not, Paul,
Slide.
I am not saying that I haven't done it in the past.
Okay.
However, as a woman of maturity, I would prefer that if I know I'm getting ready to go there, let me take a step back and actually regroup myself before I say something.
So-
I don't think hurting people to help make yourself feel better
That's a damn
is
lie.
important. I don't think that's
It
okay.
depends on what they said.
That's the political right answer.
In order for you to step back, because you.
No.
True podcast, that's the political answer that she's giving y'all.
I have grown up a lot, but my mouth can be reckless. Okay,
Yes.
you had alcohol and shit,
And you did too.
You might get the other.
Exactly.
You right.
So that what we said is-
However, I do believe that when you are with a partner, if y'all are going back and forth and giving all that, that's a trigger. You don't know. You could have said something that put that person in a depressive state. That is unhealthy to me. You should know your partner well enough to know. You know what? In a heated moment, I probably shouldn't go that far. There are levels. There are boundaries.
I forgot who we talking to. You forgot in the beginning. You and Candace said if they ain't y'all partner in the beginning, they ain't giving y'all everything in the beginning. Y'all not even gonna be in a relationship with them anyway. So y'all will always have the perfect version of everything for her. In the beginning, they gotta give everything in the beginning, and if it ain't it, I'm going to the next.
Depression and relationship.
That's depression.
That's different.
Both.
That's depression.
Relationship can lead to depression.
Yes, it can. Yes, it
That's
can.
facts.
An unhealthy relationship can lead to depression. I don't care what
It
you say.
can.
All right. So
You can
therefore,
be depressed.
both of y'all going. Somebody. No.
We got
But listen, a relationship can't make, listen,
I'm quiet.
a person can't, listen, I've been telling this, I guess we gotta be this, I really have to be honest too about that. A person can't make you be anything unless you allow it. The thing of it is, I'm saying it does, it sounds good, but I'm saying it can trigger, but I'm saying, like what he's saying is, I guess what I'm saying is that, I feel like a lot of times we go to, like you said, trying to understand yourself better. I tell how people always say, you gotta make yourself, you can never love anybody or be in a relationship with anybody unless you love yourself. So if you don't love yourself, then you just getting what you already feel about yourself anyway. So that person is really not making you feel a certain way because you want to reflect in what you feel about your own self.
There is some relevance to what she's saying. I think.
Oh, don't gas up.
Please don't.
No. I think she's peculiar. She's different, but it doesn't make it wrong because she's very self-aware. And when you understand yourself, you avoid putting yourself in situations that are going to be toxic.
But I think there's a difference in being self-aware and saying the politically right shit. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you know a person.
They are lying to you.
Okay.
If we have a political right conversation, I can tell you every right thing to say right now.
Right.
But in real life, that's like saying you never gonna be arguing with your guy. Y'all will never have an
I didn't
argument.
say we wouldn't argue. However, there are
So that's
boundaries.
unhealthy.
There are
If y'all
boundaries.
argue, that's unhealthy.
There are boundaries. You
So
know
what?
my
So what y'all
friend-
arguing about? Who left the water on in the sink? Like, what are y'all arguing about?
That's petty. But
So
there are
that's
boundaries.
unhealthy, right? If y'all arguing about something that's simple.
If we're arguing about who left the toilet seat up or who left the water in the sink, that don't mean you say, well, you half-ass crazy.
So I guess I'm trying to understand based on the things you're saying. What are y'all arguing about?
But it's boundaries.
The
It
air?
doesn't matter.
The
Every
color of the air?
relationship are gonna argue. Period. But it's boundaries. At the end of the day, it's respect and boundaries.
What relationship in this world that's arguing that got bound? I just don't see it. Like, what are y'all arguing about? Like, what are y'all arguing about that one of y'all ain't like, hold on, like, I guess I'm trying to understand that.
Well, I think you're gonna have arguments in every situation. It doesn't make a relationship bad because you're having arguments. Now, if the severity and the intensity of these arguments come to a point where you're dysfunctional, the relationship is a problem. You know what I mean? So arguments is common in a relationship. It's common. Yeah, I am. Thank you very much. And I think, but here's what he's saying is, if you're constantly arguing about the petty, the simple things, he's questioning whether or not this mindset that you have is working within that
But we're not
relationship.
gonna keep arguing about petty things because that's what I'm
So
saying.
y'all arguing about major things.
It shouldn't be an everyday argument about a baby
But that's a relationship, man. Like that's.
Well, not major things.
This
should be one and done.
You are going to have arguments. You're going to have, spats and all that. You're going to have that. My point is that there are boundaries, and if your partner is hitting below the belt in those arguments that are triggering you to have depressive moments or whatever, I don't feel like you set realistic boundaries with your partner, and they are really understanding that, hey, if they don't love you enough, respect you enough, I shouldn't say that. Matter or not, I should not go that far. I said. If you gotta go that far and call me half-ass crazy or treat me a certain thing,
I always tell people, find me a relationship. I always say this. Find me a relationship where that haven't happened. Then I believe it.
And I believe it.
Find me a relationship where he didn't call her crazy or vice versa. Find me that. So what I'm saying, you're saying everybody doing it. So if everybody doing it, then how can you justify what you're saying?
I'm saying if you're expressing.
What we're saying,
One at a time, ladies.
what she's trying to basically say is, what everybody's trying to say is, in the argument, they felt that if somebody says something bad, usually somebody comes back with something bad, back with what you already said.
But the level of bad is what I'm talking about. There are certain levels you don't go in a argument with your partner.
That's why you listen as a child, like, why would you say that to me?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
All I said, you let the toilet seat up. Why you right there with that?
Right, that's all I'm saying.
But that's not.
So we saying that don't happen?
No, that's a personal problem.
Right.
If I'm in a relationship with somebody that goes in on me like that, I am out of this relationship.
I'm done.
All right, real quick. Go
Because
on.
I love me too much
So let
to
you talk
allow
to me like
myself to be treated like less than a king.
But we know a lot
That
of
ain't that
people
easy.
don't love themselves.
If you got, I got 4 kids with this girl. We got this big ass house, these cars. If I say that, you ain't going nowhere. You gonna sit your ass right here and go in that kitchen and cook tomorrow like nothing happened. That's just how it is. That's just not realistic. Like we get it, it can happen, but it's not. If you don't got nothing with this guy, you ain't got no kids, nothing with him. Yeah, you can leave. But if you got a life with this dude, you ain't gonna say, you know what? You just went under the belt. Let me go talk to my damn divorce lawyer tomorrow. That don't work like that.
So what is your limitation?
Right.
What is your limitation?
I know.
What if you get punched in the face? What if you get your hair snatched out of your head?
He said stay because you got cars in the house.
Now you're adding levels of severity that's going to justify.
Exactly, but like you gonna leave because he said something?
But my point is, it doesn't matter. You cannot determine what that person's line is.
They should have leave.
And I'm saying is, if I'm offended because you don't call me a punk, low down ass nigga, then I'm out.
So
I'm not
after-
gonna wait for you to hit me. I'm not gonna wait for you to hit me because what you said offended me. You can't control the other person's level of tolerance of foolishness. So it could be words. If it's words, I tell my lady clients and men clients, I'm saying, look, you should be treated with respect. He did what? Then what you gonna do about it? Well, I can't because I got kids. Well, you ain't mad enough.
Right.
Once you get mad,
Tired of being tired.
you gonna get sick and tired of being tired, and you gotta do something different. All I'm saying is, what every person's level of tolerance is different.
But what's considered different though?
It's on the individual.
What's different?
It's on the individual.
Because if that's the case, you just told him he shouldn't tell his feelings to the lady. He should lie and smash still. So who, like, that's the therapist saying that now. So what's considered different? You feel what I'm saying?
One of the difference.
So what's different?
One of the difference is he might be able to take verbal. You might be able to take physical.
Right.
We two different people. Because sometimes I'd rather just get hit than get hit with that verbal. Because that verbal, you cannot put a band-aid
That's
on
what he
it.
said though. He said if she say he punk bitch this, that, and the third, he leaving. Right?
That's me.
So
That's it.
So if you can go, you want to tell this girl on the first date, I don't want no kids. Right? Then he's not saying you're not gonna smash.
But you gon' smash.
That's contradicting himself, man.
No.
Hold on, real quick. Okay.
Is it not?
Going back to what you said earlier, right? All right, as far as individuals diagnosing themselves with depression, right? I believe you can. I mean, if you have the self-awareness and the knowledge and everything like that, you recognize the symptoms, whether it be alcoholism, whether it be you spiraling in your mind or what have you, right? And you're in a workplace in which you may receive backlash based off of what you say, or you know what I mean, whatever, right?
Right.
Okay, so if you feel like you going to a military therapist or what have you, right, it may not work. What would be some, I guess, ways for you to cope with what you're going through?
If you diagnose yourself with depression, you're saying if you're feeling symptoms of depression, and
Like, okay, say for instance, right? All right, so whenever you go through a therapist, right, there's a questionnaire that you got to fill out.
Right.
In the military, I don't know, a lot of people may be able to recognize, right? Are you suicidal? Nope. You're not gonna answer that. You want to kill somebody? Nope. How many drinks do you have a day? 2 to 3. 2 to 3 a week. Like, you're not going to say the right answers, right? And you know this because you know the backlash that you're going to receive, right? All right. So you go to the military doctor or what have you, right? And they say, okay, and you're giving them all the politically correct answers. You're saying, oh yeah, nah, my glasses, you know, I think of it half full. I'm going out there, put my best foot forward or what have you, right? You know it. You're not.
Yeah.
How would you cope, or what would you do? What are some of the things?
As a therapist, or as
That you would suggest in order for a person
I
to
say,
cope.
first of all, you got to be honest with yourself first and foremost. Now, you got to be honest with yourself and to know that you're suffering from a condition.
I think
That's
you watch.
all right.
Oh, watch here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right.
Even the help need help. Yes. You should watch.
First of all, you need to be honest.
It was in
with
the Great Depression. Now relax.
Right. You need to be honest with yourself and recognize that you can't heal yourself. Because if you know you got signs and symptoms of cancer, you ain't gonna just ride out with that. You know what I'm saying? You know you got that HIV, that ninja, and you feel within your heart that you got it, you're gonna eventually go to somebody. The thing about mental health is you don't see the signs of mental health. So you don't know the severity of it. So if you know without a shadow of a doubt that you are depressed, I'm gonna say, go to a doctor, whether it be a private doctor or go to a mental health specialist and talk to somebody, because dealing with it on your own might not work. You know what I mean? So depression is serious, bro. Depression is serious, and a lot of people, I think depression, what it does, it isolates you from everybody else. It says to you, they don't understand. Man, look, you might as well go in your room and sit down somewhere. What's that, a gun? I bet you ain't got no bullets. Man, what you gonna do with that gun? Man, you just playing with it. You ain't no real G. You know what I'm saying? And it puts you in that corner, and you see people kill themselves because they are in their own heads, and we that are outside are like, man, why didn't he just say something?
Yeah.
Because of a lot of stuff that you're experiencing right now. I don't want to say nothing about the consequences, or a person is experiencing right now because of the consequences of how people are going to view them. So, you know, I think I would treat depression like I would treat any other serious physical illness. That's how I would treat it.
Like we always say, it's always like in the black community. What we used to do back in the day with everything, my grandma used to give me Robitussin for everything. They thought Robitussin was going to heal everything. I had a cold, Robitussin. Fever, Robitussin. Stomachache, Robitussin. It's always like, in the black community, it was always like, how God, even God. Guys will look at their girls, they might, if the girl ain't got an STD, they ain't going to the doctor to get checked because the girl ain't got it. She tell me she scratching, she burning when she pee. She got, they look at the girl and see if she got something before they go to the doctor. That's just, it's a lot of times people just don't go because they feel like that's just like, they try, like you said, they always try to deal with stuff on their own and look at the people around them and feel like get verification from everybody else that's not licensed to tell them that. And like I said, I don't know how to tell people this. It's okay to not be okay. Yep. And a lot of times, like even like how Katty said, when you started in the beginning about COVID, talking about the levels of, we talked about it on the podcast. We were saying when I felt like men don't supposed to pay for everything. But when we talked about the pressures of a man feeling like a lot of women do, and they don't understand, that's a lot of pressure on their mate feeling like they have to pay and be in control of everything. Because that's why I was telling a lot of women in the audience, they don't understand that pressure. Yeah, they say, oh, the man, he got to be the man. If he ain't paying for this, then he ain't the man. You don't understand that pressure on putting
putting that on one person because, like Caddy said, yo, it's colder now, but you looking at me like, and I might be looking at you because you're my partner too. But if my partner, how can you say you my partner, but you can't contribute? But I got to do everything. I feel like everybody has to look at stuff a certain way, and it's okay for you to be like, yo, I can't help you. I think, and like I said, my husband told me this last time. He said, babe, hey, I can't help you, but you need to go talk to somebody. And when I did, I went to talk to somebody.
He was tired of being tired.
Yeah, but it was the point being, it wasn't even that. It's the point being where he couldn't help. I always assumed, like you said, everybody, even in relationships, everybody assumed that their partner know what they feeling. Or they assume that their partner know how to deal with everything they're dealing with. They don't understand that's not true. Right. They don't know. And like I said, we was talking about that, like people have their own way of venting or their own way of handling certain situations. Like you was talking about, people might drink. Like if you, that's their coping mechanism. They might drink, they might be working hard, they might work out all the time. A lot of people think, oh, that person in the gym all the time because they just trying to be fit. No, they might be in the gym because they probably going through something. And they ain't in the gym trying to work it out. Outlet. And that's an outlet. That's what they're doing. Everybody has an outlet on something they're dealing with, but people look at it certain ways, and I understand that person might be dealing with something and you don't understand it. So it's okay to go talk to somebody about it. Like, I think it's the point that everybody is nervous to say, yo, man, look, I'm dealing with something. Right. And we make people feel that way.
But you didn't do that. You didn't do that.
Yeah.
He is the MVP.
Yeah, he is.
He recognized he had limitations,
right,
and he could not fix the mess that he know that you was going through.
Exactly.
So you wouldn't even go get help yourself.
No.
But it wasn't until he recognized, like, man, you know what? I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
You need to go talk to somebody.
And that's what we
said. And that's when you showed up.
Yeah.
You say, my husband
said, I need to talk to somebody.
And I was like, man,
hey.
That's the MVP right there.
That went in a totally different direction.
Yeah, it could.
You know, no doubt. Yeah. No doubt.
And that's why I said it's okay. A lot of times, that's why I was saying, a lot of times a man will sit there and they will either pretend that they're listening, or you will argue with them about what they're dealing with, or you keep going back and forth, and they can't help you. But instead of just saying, yo, bro, look, you gotta go talk to somebody. Like you said, he said, I can't help you out. You gotta go talk to somebody. And it's okay to say that, but a lot of times people don't understand that you can say that to somebody without feeling like you hurt their feelings. But like, man, you gotta go get help.
But I also think it's experiences. I think everybody's experience from their childhood to where they are today plays a part in that. Because some people have a childhood where they couldn't talk about it. They don't know how to express it.
And that was mine.
That people never asked them questions. Yep. They just assumed, or they told you what to do, or yelled at you to figure it out, right? And so you get to that point, and maybe you look at your partner like, this is what I need. I didn't have, it's that inner child. Are you digging down deep in the root cause of what's going on? Is it my little me trying to come out?
And that's what, and I agree with you on that, because that's what I said. A lot of people.
Can we take a pause?
Yes. No, I do. That's the part. I feel like everybody's childhood plays a major role in their adult life.
You think
like
so?
They do. Yes, absolutely. I really think, like, you gotta understand, like, take girls. Either have daddy issues, or guys even have daddy issues. I tell people that all the time. You got guys who may not know how, like, everybody is in something, they're in a relationship, but they got some type of anger issues, or something that they're dealing with, they know how to cope with. How do you know how to do something, like, say, being a man? If you didn't have a dad to show you, or you was raised by a woman, and someone is pressuring you, like, and I tell a lot of girls that's in relationships, they'll be like, oh, you should know how to be, you need to be a better father, you need to be better. How do you can't, this man, he's trying the best he can, but he never had nobody to show him. Right. But you put a lot of pressure on him to be the best man he could be, but he never had no man to show him anything.
Yeah, but also, I heard the story of this successful guy and this other guy was a drunk. They brothers.
Yeah.
Came from the same father. And that father was the reason why one guy was successful and the other one was like, because.
I heard this story too.
You feel what I'm saying? So.
But what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is that I get what you're saying. Everybody's, and I say that about my own family. Like, either one went, I chose to take the motivation that I went through, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to be this way. Right. And I chose to go up, while some stayed stagnant or went downhill. Right. But what I'm saying is that like everybody don't know how to deal with certain situations, but you just have to understand that it's okay to tell that person, yo, look, how many times somebody probably called you, and you know, have you ever had somebody call you, they about to call you with bad news or stuff that you should be like, man, damn, I know I want, but the energy, like you said, that's something, it could be draining to you. Like, their energy can drain you. And you be like, and you sometimes you don't want to, but you be like, man, look.
You kind of hit the nail on the head, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay not to be okay. Look, I'm speaking for my military audience, right? February 2nd, 2013, I felt like my life was over. And that's why the Dreams and Nightmares song relates to me in the way that it does, right? I was at the top of the step waiting for my sister to leave the club, right? And a police officer came up to me. He was like, hey, you need to leave the club. I was like, yeah, I understand. I'm just waiting for my sister. He was like, yeah, what the fuck? I just told you you need to fucking leave. I said, all right, but you ain't got to talk to me like that. I started to walk down the steps. So as I walked down the steps, I got an elbow to the back of my head. Next thing you know, it's me versus 12 police officers, right? We scrapped in the parking lot. They beat my ass. They maced me. They tased me twice in handcuffs, right? They had the dogs barking in my face, everything like that. They tried to charge me with 2 counts of assault, aggravated assault against a police officer, drunken disorderly, public intoxication, so many different things, right? And I thought like my military career and everything was over. My security clearance was going and all that, right? I had to go to therapy. I had to go to the little rehabs and what have you, based off of the everything that was being charged against me. And I was telling them everything that I was telling them in regards to like, I'm not feeling this, I'm not feeling that. But at the end of the day, I was depressed, you know what I'm saying? And obscurity was the worst thing for me, you know what I'm saying? Obscurity was worse than death at that time, you know what I mean? And I wasn't really able to open up. But at the end of the day, I made it through that situation, right? And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I reached out to an outside therapist and I was able to talk to them. And that's my whole point, like, it's okay not to be okay. And sometimes it may not take a military doctor. Sometimes you may have to go to an outside doctor to talk to them about what you're going through. You know what I mean?
The same way you'll be with a doctor. This doctor don't know what he's talking about. It don't even sound like he know what he's talking about. Let me get a second opinion.
Yeah, that's what it was. You know what I mean? That's ultimately what I'm getting at.
I know what you're saying, because I had to do that. But I had to do that a lot.
But I think those experiences are important, right? And going to a point, how you were treated, right? Or how a child was treated when you get in that relationship. It may be those words that your bottom line, because somebody talked to you like that before, or somebody cursed at you like that before, or belittled you like that before, and you're like, look, I know what that did to me, I can't do this. Right, so I think it is the self-awareness that you have to recognize what those triggers are, and yes, go get help. It's okay to get help. It's all right. It's okay to see a therapist, but find the right therapist. Find the right person that can cater to what you need. You can't go to somebody who's a family therapist and who may need something else, or they don't specialize in what you need. So it is important for you to ask those questions then too.
Yeah, like I said, with him, like I've had a therapist before. I had a woman first. I had a woman female, and all she did was sit there and listen. Yeah, and I didn't relate to her.
She was there for the check.
She was like, I need you to go home and I need you to do this exercise, and I was just like,
that ain't enough. That ain't enough.
I just didn't.
Well, times has changed though, man. 'Cause I remember when we was going through shit, man. We went to grandma's house,
Right.
and grandma just told you this how it is.
But
Now
grandma was
it's
like 38, 40.
right, but now it's like we gotta go we gotta go seek professional help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you ain't lying on that kid. I actually agree with you. Everybody went to see grandma. Grandma was there.
Had all the answers and stuff,
Right.
but
But now we don't have it. Like grandma, like people going out with their grandma in the club now, and I'm like,
You never recognize how issues from childhood still affect you as an adult until somebody brings it to your attention. I have to do the code cracking with a whole lot of people, and they wonder why I'm asking them about how they was raised, whether they was raised by a single parent, whether or not, they have brothers and sisters, what their brothers and sisters do and things like that. I find all of that out to try to figure out how do they get to that particular point. Because you don't come out the womb acting crazy.
Right.
You don't come out the womb being insecure.
Right.
And I say this a lot in relationships, that when you married her, she didn't have trust issues. Yeah. Or maybe she did and you married her anyway.
Right,
so,
you knew.
So you knew what the issue was.
I can fix them.
Okay, there you go. I can fix them.
So everything starts somewhere.
Yep.
It starts somewhere. And when you come out the womb, you're innocent, you're learning. But if you grow up without a father, then you're learning a certain type of way.
Yep.
And you don't recognize until you're older, how does that impact how you are as an adult. And then you start raising kids. You raise that first kid, you're just practicing.
Right.
You raise that second kid, okay, that second kid is the baby for a minute, then the third child comes along. That second child will be different from that first child, and that last child will be different. And you say they got the same mom and daddy? Yeah, they do, but they had a different mom and daddy every time.
Yep.
So you're a different person raising a different child, and every child
And we
is
say that
different.
even in relationships.
And
It's
even
different.
in relationships.
Every time you in a relationship, you with somebody different.
Yep.
Everybody's evolving. So how you met that person when you first met them,
Right.
and somebody
Not
told
gonna
me
be that
that
same way. Yep.
everybody's changing.
Right. But you don't sell a house because it got roaches. You just fumigate.
Right.
Fumigate the house. All right? Right. So, and they may come back, but it all depends on how you take care of your house.
Yeah.
Okay, so all
Or
I'm
the
saying
previous
is,
owner.
and if you're the previous owner and your house was sold,
Right.
I mean, whether it got roaches or not, it ain't your business.
No, what I was saying is, in the reference that you used, I like that because the previous owner could have had termite damage.
No doubt.
You get up in there, you like, okay, I love this house. Now you have to deal with the past.
Love it.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So now
and
you gotta
it's
have
expensive.
It is.
It's expensive, but if you want to keep the house,
Okay, gotcha.
you invest in it. And the more you invest in the house, the more the house increases in value.
And become a home.
You feel me?
And become a home.
Absolutely.
Come on now.
I want to ask you a question.
Let's go. Come on, ask a question.
Can I ask a question?
Come on.
I need to come up here.
Yeah, come on, get the mic.
I'm to them over to get up.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the chair over to you.
Don't you stop that shit, Kelly. So, let me sit down with my military buddy. So, Doc, let me say this. Well, I spent 25 years in the Army. And I had some things called significant emotional events in my life. People getting killed, parents dying, dealing with coming back from Iraq and all these other places. And they sent me to a therapist that didn't look like me, didn't talk like me, didn't understand a damn thing I was saying. And after I left that therapist, I felt like killing myself.
No doubt.
Now I'm telling you the truth. This is 100% true. Can't make this shit up.
I got you.
So, for the military, it's real hard. Because we don't get to select the doctor that we see. Okay? And I never forget the first time I went to the VA, and the therapist asked me, well, how do you feel? And I asked her, how in the fuck were I supposed to feel? She looked at me. She said, well, Mr. Walsey, I said, I carry my gun every damn where. She got real fucking scared. She couldn't even talk to me after that. Because the fact is, how can you talk to me about something I'm going through when you have not been through it? That was my point to her at that point in time.
Right. I told somebody, I used to work for the VA 12 years, and I had a vet who asked me, did you serve? I said, no. You don't know what I'm going through. I said, listen, I don't have to smoke crack to know it's not good for you.
Correct.
So I don't have to go through everything that you've gone through to be qualified and credible to tell you what mental illness is and dysfunction is.
Because if you're an understandable therapist, you will get that.
Absolutely.
If you're a therapist with passion, you will get that.
Absolutely.
But we got so many there with no damn passion.
That's why you gotta walk right out of there.
Okay.
Walk out as soon as you don't feel it.
I did walk out.
Yeah.
I walked out because they can't tell me anything that I've been through.
Facts.
They never laced up them boots. It's rough. Every day is a battle. Every day is a struggle. When you're married and you got a spouse, your spouse ain't gonna understand shit. Quit going to your spouse acting like they the therapist. Because I feel sorry for Terry sometimes. She done be giving him, yep. I'm like, hey, darling, let's go have a drink.
But he understands he's not the therapist. And just like you say, if you got the right mate, they're not going to even question that. If you say, I don't feel like talking, they're going to carry their ass back in the room somewhere.
Lay down.
Go watch this damn, what's that, Netflix shit. That's what we're something. Get on the computer or something.
What?
But it is real rough when it comes to mental health. I seen guys get blown up. My vehicle got hit by an RPG round in Iraq. I said, damn it. I'm not going to make it back to South Carolina. I said, bitch, but when I get back, I ain't never leaving no more. But I made it back. And that shit still flashes in my head. Every day I see that damn same rocket coming at my vehicle.
Yes, sir.
But I had to be a bigger man and a better man. Because if you don't have it in your heart to get over that shit, you're not going to get over it. See, I want to be better for my kids, my grandkids, and the people that I'm around that I love.
Right.
And that's something that you have to take in heart with. Because as a man, we're not expected to be weak at all.
Yeah.
Black man anyway. We talk about raising up and how you were growing up and all that shit. Okay. I'm a single parent guy. I'm my only child. My mother whipped my ass when she had nothing else to do. So they kept me straight. But it had a village that helped me be a man. See, we don't have those villages no more. Big mama in the damn club with her daughter.
Yep.
Ain't no big mama no more.
Yep.
So, Doc, keep doing what you do. Thank you for what y'all do. Amen. I'm going to give me an appointment with your ass next week. Don't make your this damn money.
Listen, I always tell people you can't put a Band-Aid on cancer, bro.
No, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So you definitely, and I tell people, when they come to me with a problem, I say, do you want me to make you feel better? Or do you want to treat the cancer?
I got you.
And cancer can be any problem that you have. Now, if you just want me to make you feel better, I'm just sit back and get my money.
Okay.
I'm just, is that right?
Well,
Is that right? But sometimes surgery, chemotherapy is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And if you had cancer in your balls, sometimes you got to cut it off.
You got to go through the storm. Both
Absolutely.
of them.
And if it's in your breast, you got to cut it off. So what I'm saying is there are issues that you have to deal with. It sometimes can be very difficult and even painful.
It's called
to deal.
significant emotional.
Listen, bro, and you definitely need to talk to somebody that you can get some of that stuff out of your system.
I got it out of my system.
Yeah, that's what's up.
When I tell you I got it out of my system, I'm so free from it.
I love it.
Because you know what? Ain't one thing, God is good all the time.
Amen.
So I got this stuff up. I got a group of guys that I hang with every day.
That's good stuff.
See, us veterans, we get together, we talk,
Yeah.
because we speak the same language.
Absolutely.
And if you realize one thing, they sent me to a 13-week course. When I got in that course, and all the other guys started speaking, I realized, I'm like, shit, they ain't nothing wrong with me. These motherfuckers crazy. Yeah.
PTSD in North Carolina?
Oh, yes, sir.
North Carolina, Salisbury?
Yes, I went up there to the upper room. They said, you can't leave Cadillac, you gotta stay right here. You can't go in the car.
Like we already know who we got. We gonna put him with you after the so.
They give me an appointment.
And he be getting all the information.
Yeah, let me get the debit card so we can do it.
Well, like I said, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I know you.
I keep it real. I'm like this in the session.
He like this in the session.
Yeah.
No, literally.
Just like this.
Just like this. He's
So,
like this.
so I don't switch it up for nobody, and I tell everybody, if I ain't your cup of tea, take your copay, your insurance, somebody else that's gonna be all
Hey,
right.
Doc, thank you for taking care of Sheena. From the bottom of my heart. Y'all laugh about this shit. I'm serious. That's Terrence's wife.
Right.
But that's my girl.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking care of her.
When this man walked up to me and said, man, I really this is the first time I met him, I knew I was doing the right
I
thing.
gave him a ride to take care of her.
I knew I was doing the right thing.
Whatever. Like I said, at the end of this, everybody, if you dig my therapist, of course y'all can go see him. He's awesome. I know a lot of people gonna hit you up. So I get the
Black people.
They're around people. They're around people.
Shucking and jiving.
Oh,
Right here getting commission.
Commission, baby.
But at the end of the day, we
don't know if y'all want to come up or anybody. What you say, Tabs? I
What's
always give my man behind the camera and be like, what you say? Because I know Thomas answered his question.
Did Hollywood slap anybody? That's a question I got.
No, he didn't. He did good.
So he didn't do like Will Smith?
Nah.
Okay.
He didn't do nothing tonight. Did anybody have any questions? You want to say anything? Y'all know I always open the floor and let y'all talk.
I got a question from the therapist, more on an informational standpoint, right?
Yes.
So, as Thomas said, right, he thought he was suicidal at one point. So if you get somebody who gives you a phone call, right, a friend, a family member, something to that effect, how would you deal with that as a therapist and or as the friend or the family member that they're calling?
That's a good question. I think I would let a person tell me I feel like going down there and blowing that place up. I would let you say it. I would let you get it out of your system. However, if I feel there's a likelihood that you might, I'm on the phone. I had to do this to a client. He says, man, I promise you, if I see that girl, I'm going to straight kill her. I got one for her and the baby. Whoa. And while we was on the phone, I was calling the police. And I kept him on the phone, He was like, man, Chad, that's messed up. Police rolled right up above. They done did GPS tracking of his number, found out where he was, and locked him up. And he said, man, that was the best decision he ever made. So, if you're suicidal, and I'm talking about really suicidal, that's some real serious issues there. I'm going to be able to assess there's some stuff that you really need to be, you need to be locked down, or you need to be in an emergency room somewhere if you're going through those types of feelings. But I feel you. When I'm in a session, I'm feeling everything you say, and I'll let you get off whatever you got to get off, because I feel like that's throwing up. But if you give me the notion, man, yeah, I feel like killing.
He dropping it down on you.
What you mean? Man, I promise you. And they reiterating that. The Bible says what comes out of the heart will come out of your mouth. You know, so if you got it in your heart that you're going to kill somebody, it's going to come out. And if I feel like it's going to come out, that's why when you start talking about how you going to fake it, putting stuff on the paper, a real good therapist ain't going to let no piece of paper, you manipulating no piece of paper tell me that you ain't depressed.
They have though.
Right. They have who?
We have the therapists that do that.
Oh yeah, but a real good therapist is how I
Not these two.
We got to talk about the
Right.
Y'all go with me, so you know.
Right.
Yeah. You get my cash out tomorrow.
Yeah, and they will call the police.
$2.
So you suggesting call the police, or do you pull up as a friend? Or do you pull up on them? Or if you can't pull up, like that's what you suggest, call the police or call a family member or something like that, so they can go to that location.
Suicidal is serious.
If they're suicidal.
Yeah, they're suicidal. I got to call the ambulance. Yeah. I done did that at least 2 times, where I done called the ambulance and they had to take a woman to the emergency room because she really had thoughts and plans. She kept crying, walking up belligerent during the session. Called the ambulance. I said, look, you just need to talk to somebody for a minute. She didn't know the extent of it, but by the time the ambulance got there, they took her to the emergency room and gave her, they wouldn't let her leave until she answered a few questions.
Right quick.
I have a question. So with the military, because I'm a disabled vet. I got out of the military because of my postmaster disorder. I had like a mental breakdown where I was they was about to get it. These hands, everybody. And like, they didn't really take it serious. They was like, I'm gonna give you this medical retirement. I'm gonna give you about 80% disability. Go ahead and go to this VA and scoot you on your way. Like, I answered the questions to the T. Like, this is how I felt. This is what's going on. They were like, I'm gonna give you 2 weeks off. I'm gonna let you stay at home with your family. I heard my husband almost get blown up on the phone. I'm 23 years old. I'm feeling like I'm about to be a widow with 3 kids. I have my baby sister, I just had a newborn, and I have my son. And I was like, y'all ain't gonna help me. And I kept asking for help. And this is the military. Like, you would ask, even the VA, I'd be like, this is what's going on with me. They gave me 10 different medications. I was hooked on pills. To function. To wake up in the morning.
You're 100 now, though. You're 100% now.
I'm 100%.
Yeah, you're 100% now. Yeah, you're 100% now.
But 7 years of therapy, and I was like, y'all didn't do nothing but make me feel like I want to punch y'all in the fucking face.
The military always give you a bunch of pills. That's the coping mechanism. You know how many pills I got in my house? I got a pharmacy in my house that just give me a bunch of pills. That's all they do is give me pills. Push a P. The military is push a P. They are true push a P. It's the military. When I tell you the military, they send it to you in the mail. You go to VA, you got like, I get sacks of pills. Yeah,
it's by the boat. They be like,
it's by the boat.
Not that they supply.
Yeah.
You ain't realize I got pills over the phone that they don't even they don't care. So what do you do for the folks that really want to get help and they can't get help because they stuck with military? They're like, oh, if that's not your PCM or if that's blah blah blah, and they can't afford it, I can afford it. But for the folks that can't afford it, they be like, what am I gonna do?
They go to alcohol.
No, all I say is I had to learn. You gotta go off base. After a while, I really had to learn. I went off base. I had to learn. Like even when I had regular stuff that was going on with me, like I said I gotta go off base.
Yeah.
Even if I had to like pay for it, but I asked him. I said I need to go off base.
Yeah.
I need to see a specialist off base. I need to go off base. I didn't go see anybody on base anymore. Everybody was off base. Because the people on, you gotta think everybody who's on base, they're really not qualified like that to do it.
Get a D.
Exactly.
These are the people that all you have to do is get a D.
Yeah, and the pass. And then our training is only for a short period of time. So they don't have to, and then like I said, I'd rather go off base because the stipulations for someone off base is much critical than on base. You gotta think they license. If they mess up, that's their license. That's they like, on base. They probably say, "Oh, well, okay, I'm gonna put you train you over here in another department. You gonna get transferred over to work somewhere else, and that's it." But off base, they have to go to school a long period of time to get to where they at, and that's why I chose to go off base for everything.
You can't even sue the one on base.
Yeah, you can't.
And also too with the people that's like off base or whatever. If you have to go off base and you concerned about the price or can't afford it, a term that you might want to like think about is like sliding scale, right? So like call different therapies practices that have sliding scale. But what sliding scale is pretty much like if you don't have insurance or like if you can't afford their regular rate, some of them can like adjust their price and they either have payment plans or they can accept a lesser payment because with good therapists, the benefit of the client is what's most important. It's more important than the money.
Yeah.
It's not just about the check if you really.
We do what we do, but we don't do it for free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
if the nail technician gonna get hers, okay,
that's what I'm saying.
The hairstylist gonna get theirs.
I just want to know what you're doing for the scale.
Slide scale. That's a new term.
We sit and deal with people and problems for at least an hour and a half in some cases. So I think that is so severe, so important that I place a premium on being able to help people. Not saying it's all about money, but we're trying to help people work through the difficulties of life. Absolutely. You don't want nobody to care. They don't have to care. They just want to listen to you, walk out feeling the same way. Give them $30, $50 and go on about your business. But if you want somebody that you really want to sit down and know you, and you know they got a gift of understanding, you pay for what you get.
Yeah.
You pay for what you get. So I just take pride. I've been doing it long enough that I take pride in sitting down and no phones, no TV, no radio, just sitting down and listening to somebody. And that's all people want. Like you said, somebody just wants to be heard. And if they sit down and let you throw up for an hour, you ain't did nothing, but they walk out like, dang, I feel so good. I feel so much better. Thank you, Jack.
just prescribed me medical marijuana. Can I smoke it when I come talk to you?
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, you can.
Tom's gonna talk to you after this show.
Yes, you can.
But anyway, to wrap everything up, we're about to wrap everything up. I guess my thoughts or ending thoughts on this matter is, like I tell everybody, depression is real. Mental health is real. Everybody's dealing with something. Whether they want to fake like they not or be strong and act like they not, it's something everybody is dealing with in their life that's causing them to have some type of mental health issue. And they don't, and a lot of people just don't understand it's okay to go talk to somebody. It's okay to be like, yo, I'm not good. And like I said, I used to be one of them people to feel like, yo, I gotta always front, I gotta put a smile on my face all the time. I had to, like I said, and people who relate in the military, you have to, because you got people around you to make you feel like if you're weak, they're making you feel weak if you have an issue. It's okay for you to be hurt. It's okay for you to not always be okay. It's okay for you to be financially unstable sometimes. It's okay for you to be like, yo, I'm not in the best physical health. It's okay. And like I said, men, like Caddy said, I love how he highlighted the fact on men having to deal with a lot of issues in their life and mental health. Men have a lot of pressure on them. And like I said, I always say, even with women, we don't understand that. Sometimes we just don't look at it in that limelight. Like I said, my husband made me realize that all the time. Men have it harder than us sometimes. And we just need to learn. Sometimes our men need help. It's okay to be like, yo, my mate needs help. And as a woman, I'm telling other females it's okay to y'all to be like, yo, you don't have to be superwoman all the time. And I used to feel that way. I used to feel like I had to be superwoman. If I wasn't superwoman for my family, I used to hide crying. I used to hide, sneak in the room and be like, no, I can't let them see me because I felt like it wasn't okay. But it's okay, y'all, to be like, yo, I'm not good. I'm not good. And every time y'all, friends, some of your friends is just, yeah, they're your friends, but they're not your therapists, man. They're not your therapists. And sometimes I guess your strongest friends, check on them. Like I said, I don't care how big they smile may be or how strong they might seem on the outside. Everything on the outside, I'm telling y'all, is not always what it is. So always check on them and be like, yo, you just good. Because sometimes maybe they just want to hear, they don't want to hear you talk. Sometimes people just want to hear you just be quiet sometimes and just listen. I had to learn that too. And like I said, sometimes they don't want to hear a response back from you. Sometimes they just want to hear you listen to them and they don't want to hear what you got to say back. It's okay, y'all. So I'm going to let everybody else get their closing remarks on what you feel. What's up, Hollywood? What you think, baby cakes? Go ahead.
You big daddy, Hollywood, a couple days. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, in closing, I just really think, man, with after this conversation we had today, I feel like it's a really depression. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of feeling that way now. Is it really depression? Because these conversations we've had and we've had tonight is like, I hear this at the bar every day. You know what I mean? I hear this at the bar every single day. Is it really depression or is it just a feeling you really feeling? So I just think everybody do go through stuff, and I do feel like you have to talk to somebody who don't know you. You can't go to somebody. I can't go to my mate about what I'm going through. She knows me. Right. So when I say something to her, she looking like, nigga, what? Like, you know what I mean? She ain't gonna, it's not even gonna register. You know, so when you, as a woman, if you go into your mate and you feel like your mate supposed to, if I can't vent to my mate, who can I vent to? Anybody who don't know you. Because he already have a vision of you and he knows you. So no matter what you tell him, he thinking like, the fuck wrong with her? You know what I'm saying? So now, me going to see a therapist, that's why I agree with him. I like the way he therapy. You know what I mean? I need somebody to be real with me. I don't want to come in a session and, what? Listen, what? No, I need you to be like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, I know it's right. You know, I need that because my therapist I've had in the past, I've had plenty. I'd stop going. You know, I've got out of the sessions, got up and walked out. You know what I mean? Just, I'm like, what? Like, gone. You know what I mean? And like, so you really gotta have somebody who you can really be yourself with. I want somebody to be themselves with me. So that's why I can really appreciate what he's doing for her and what he did for her, because I've seen a big change. You know what I mean? And like, so it's just one of those things where I think, you know, he's passionate about what he's doing and he's honest about what he's doing. You know, if I ask you a question, give me a real answer. Give me a real answer. Like, yo, Hollywood, you fucking up. You know what I mean? Tell me that. Don't tell me, well, Mr. Jackson, you know, what's your past like? I'm like, bitch, what? Like, you ask me about my past. See, going to see a therapist like that's like you, he already know what your past was like. So I ain't even got to go through all that. You know? So that's why I can appreciate, you know what I mean, the way he's using her and she's using him. I see the difference. So I need that. That's the type of therapy that I need. And all them 5 therapists I had before, they need their old man refund. I paid that shit out of pocket. But in closing, that's what I felt. I just feel depression is bigger than just, it's bigger than just what the definition is, you know. We get depressed over kids. We get depressed over our own kids, we depressed. You know what I mean? Cause, you know, it's just, we can't really go, our time is slowing up. This is definitely another topic. We can keep doing another episode, but we get depressed about a lot of things that you don't really want to be depressed about, but you get depressed about it. Your mom, your family, your kids, you know, things that you have to deal with every single day. That was one of the reasons I brought up healthy depression. You know, I'm going to be depressed over my kids to make sure they shit straight. I'm like, I gotta take these motherfuckers to school again today. You know what I mean? I gotta do this again today. That's a healthy depression for me. You know, so it's just another topic we get in a little bit.
Man, y'all done wrap this up. This thing go beautifully, man. Word. So I just want to add, so of course, like depression is a real thing, right? So of course, if you feeling these, any of these things that we've talked about earlier tonight, you know, definitely find someone that you can open up to, right? And with therapy, it's all about fits, right? It's all about connection. What they've highlighted, you know, all night. It's all about connection. So if you gotta find someone that you can feel that you're comfortable enough to be open and honest, to be yourself with, and that they care and understand about you becoming the best version of yourself. And if you don't find that the first time, keep searching until you find someone that you feel comfortable enough with. And also too, another thing, like if it's the first time that you're hearing about depression or feeling depression or, you know, hearing this type of talk, know that it can be normal for you to, I always like to tell my people that it can take up to 3, 6 to 12 months before you see or feel any type of change, right? So if you go to 1 session, 2 sessions, we're not musicians, like you may not feel better as soon as you know, after your first or second session. So if you feel like that, know that that's normal, that therapy is a process. So, you know, just keep going until you see and feel those types of changes, and know that you're seeing a therapist that really cares about you and you becoming the best version of yourself for whatever purpose that you went in there for. So that's what I got.
All right. My thing is mental health is key. It's okay to not be okay. Reach out to a qualified therapist that you may have a connection with. And suicide is a real thing. It's never it's not okay. Excuse me. It's not a it's not okay that's a permanent fix to a temporary problem. There we go. That's a permanent fix to a temporary problem. You can get over those circumstances and those situations as long as you reach out to a licensed therapist, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, never take that route. And that's ultimately it. Just reach out to a qualified professional if you need help.
Is it on? Returning your thought? So I think for my closing, I agree with all of you. Right? I love therapy. In the world we live in, right? We all go to church, talk to a doctor, take some medicine, but I think therapy is very important. So find a therapist. If you are working in your company, you know, ask your company, do you have an employee assistance program? Right, ask those questions. But even then, right, those therapists under that company's umbrella may not be for you. So make sure you do your research. But again, therapy is amazing, and I also think that, you know, your partner is important to your mental health as well, and understand and be self-aware. So while therapy is great, I also think that, you know, you should find things that make you happy. For me, right, it's my dog, right, or spending time with him, or exercising as an outlet, or drawing, or hobbies. So find things included with therapy that make you happy and that can pull you out of those certain depressive episodes or moments. But ultimately, you are right. It is okay not to be okay, and it's okay to feel that. But it's all about being self-aware, and sometimes you have to be selfish with your mental health and cut ties where you need to cut ties so that you can be at peace. In this day and time, as you get older, right, peace is more important than anything and anybody in your space. If you're in my space and you're not giving me peace, the peace that I have by myself, then cut ties. And that's okay. And then go talk to a therapist if you're feeling sad about cutting those ties. You'll get through it. Right, but ultimately, like, I'm a fan of therapy. I don't downplay it. I always tell people go seek therapy. Not everybody has the answers. Family, friends, no matter how close you may be. So I appreciate y'all for this panel, having this conversation, and I do hope everybody listening takes something away today, and it's just know that you are loved and you can get through it. But go talk to somebody. And I love you, despite all my shit talking. I love y'all. I know.
I was just gonna close with this. Everybody's journey is not gonna be your journey. You know what I'm saying? Some people can get help from the professionals. Some can get help from Big Mama.
No doubt.
But I think the one that, in my opinion, that we didn't go to is say prayer. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the most important things that we need, especially now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Get some of that, and also, like I was saying earlier, go somewhere and get you some help. Don't look at what Hollywood got going on and be like, oh, okay, I ain't going to therapy because it ain't work for him. Yeah. Look at Hollywood wife. It worked for her. You know, different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? And like somebody over here said earlier, check on those who are always there for people, because we always go to that Big Mama. You know, I'm going through this. Somebody check on them too. You know what I'm saying? I actually learned a lot today. Actually, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to go be in the Army or the military to have post-traumatic syndrome. Yeah. Because I got it for being shot, and I wasn't even in Iraq.
I remember that.
You remember? Yeah.
I remember that too.
So it's okay. There we go. One of them, you don't shot me, but
Everybody remember that.
Right.
He get shot, he worried about the shoot.
Right. Exactly. But Hollywood and your wife, y'all doing an excellent job, especially with bringing these two guys on, man. It got me, looking forward to the next episode or whatever. But appreciate you, man. And that's me and my closing.
What you got? What you got?
Well, I just want to say I appreciate being invited to a session like this. I take my pride in my individual sessions. That's where I get my joy. Not only do I see the satisfaction, I get paid for it. So I don't have to promote. I don't have to go out and really market, because my joy comes from what I do. But having a session like this really highlights the profession, the need for mental health awareness and stability. Some people just ain't dysfunctional. I mean, it's just the way people are. And once you learn that people go through different things, I mean, if you see him driving up and he done been in Iraq because of RPG done almost, you got to understand that it's because of his experience. He acts the way he acts. He does the way he does. So I understand that as a therapist. I deal with everybody individually, separately. But I think group discussions like this is something we need to do more of, especially us black folk. Sure. I talked about having a husband support group, because us men, we don't talk a lot. Okay. And we feel like, we can just deal with stuff isolated within our homes. But I think we need to come together and to be better, as husbands, providers, fathers, whatever, and to make our relationships better. Not to just bicker and complain about our spouses and stuff, but just to be better. And I think in sessions like this, if we can talk and be frank and open and be receptive to what somebody else has to say, which is definitely hard. You got to see license, you got to see DDLDCARC. You got all these different letters behind the name before you listen to somebody. But sometimes it's people that's just low degree, GED, now been through some hardships that can teach us how to deal with some stuff a whole lot better. So mental health is good, but talking is just as good. And if we can, just environments like this, I was asking the young lady, I was saying, man, y'all do this every month? She's like, yeah, we do this every second Tuesday or something. I was like, yeah. I said, this is all right. So I like the vibe, I like this. I'm already seeing myself doing groups in here, seeing some people over here, doing some things. I mean, because this is a good time of night, nice time during the week. So it's real good. So I encourage you to keep it up, whether you're talking about relationships, mental health, finances, whatever it is. This is a good setting to really improve our individual lives, especially when it comes to mental health.
Tell people where they can find you.
Vision counseling. Let's see, where we at? Vision counseling, we offer 2 Notch Road, near the new Quick Trip that they just built right there on 2 Notch Road. QT? Yeah, we right over there. Instagram is young people love Instagram. C Middle the Counselor. I'm C Middle the Counselor on Instagram, but that ain't no work email. That's me acting a fool. So the Vision counseling email, I don't get a whole lot of traffic. I need to work on that. But if you want to contact us, just look up Vision Counseling, and you'll find us. Chad Middleton is my name.
All right, my name is Brandon Armand Aaron.
Hold it.
Yeah, and I'm not local here. I'm in the Rock Hill area, and my company, the private practice I work for is Sky Care Services, and my email is BAARON@skycare.com. And if you want to get in touch with me, and our office number is 803-587-8036, extension 102. If you want to schedule counseling services with me, we accept all insurances. If you don't have virtual, we have virtual. Yep, we have we accept TRICARE. We accept all insurances. If you don't have insurances, we can talk. We can talk about that. We can talk about that, and I think anything else to plug us. Oh yeah, like I said, we're in the Rock Hill area, 1447 Ebenezer Road, Rock Hill, South Carolina, 29732.
If y'all in the audience and y'all want to, talk to these two after the session, y'all can get their information too. If y'all want to book y'all some sessions with them, they gonna be here. Y'all get y'all information. We appreciate y'all so much for coming. I love y'all, my panel mates. I appreciate y'all for coming out. I love my audience. I appreciate y'all for being out here. And it was a good show. Thanks.